Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 105th episode of the longest tenured Denver Nuggets spin-off podcast in the world. Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets' Serbian Corner. My name is Miroslav, and before we begin, please let me remind you to like the YouTube video. It helps it get discovered more easily. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and also to the DNVR Nuggets podcast channel so you can make your commute or office/home office work pass quicker. If you want to support the show more directly, you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/MiroslavCuk. I want to shout out my newest Patreon supporter, Noah Remillard. Welcome to the family. The week behind us started with a rumor that the Nuggets are interested in Vasa Micic, Nikola's teammate on Team Serbia. This rumor coincided with the report that the Clippers and the Hornets were interested in another Team Serbia member, Aleksa Avramovic, and it would have made sense for the Hornets to let go of Vasa if they would bring Aleksa in, but since that didn't happen and Aleksa stayed in Europe, I reckon Vasa to the Nuggets is less probable. I am intrigued. The Nuggets really need another primary ball handler, and I would like the move, especially since Vasa's contract annual value is almost identical to Zeke Nagi's. Right now in Ljubljana, and you can see it on the screen behind me, capital of Slovenia, Goran Dragic is playing his last basketball game. He invited his friends from all parts of the world to make the game memorable. On one team, we saw Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Luis Scola, Robin Lopez, Dirk Nowitzki, Boban Marjanovic. And on the other, next to Goran Dragic, it was Vlatko Čančar, Nikola Vucevic, Steve Nash, Chris Bosh, and many others. We've seen Nikola's self alley-oop off the backboard. It's going viral right now on Twitter. Boban draining threes, Steve Nash to Vladimir Radmanovic connection in 2024 like it is 2004, but also almost as many brick three-pointers as on 2024 NBA All-Star Game. Two of the biggest stars, Jokic and Doncic, were having a lot of fun and still are, as expected. The game is now entering its fourth hour. I'm not sure it is quite over yet, and I'm honestly not sure if it will be over until this show ends. Okay, that's enough for an intro. Let me introduce my guests for today. First, a debutant, and a sleepy one for that matter, since it is 7 a.m. on a Sunday, his time right now. He is a writer, a trainer, and a host of the West's live pod about the West's Tigers, a team that plays Australian football, if I'm not mistaken. He is also a fan of AC/DC, which makes a lot of sense for me as an electrical engineer. Calling from down under, it's Josh Barnett. Welcome to the show and good morning, Josh.
Good morning to beautiful, good evening to Serbia, good afternoon to beautiful Colorado, and yeah, good morning. I couldn't be any more Australian. I'm literally sitting in my Holden Commodore parked under a gum tree, and I think there's a spider crawling across my windscreen. But no, very happy to get up on a Sunday morning to talk to you, Miroslav. It's an honor, mate, when you asked me to do it, which was during the Olympics. Australia and Serbia were, I think it was just before we played you guys. So, but no, very happy to be on the show. Big fan.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's really interesting to me because Belgrade is 8 hours behind Colorado, or before Colorado, and Australia is 8 hours before Serbia, which means that also US is 16 hours behind Australia, and so on. It's a perfect triangle of 8-hour shapes.
Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle. You can call it like that. So, am I right about the West's Tigers?
Yeah, no, Aussie rules, not Aussie rules football. Rugby, the National Rugby League. So, quick education for non-Australians. So basically, we have two major football codes in Australia. There's the Australian Football League, which is the one that a lot of punters end up playing in the NFL for, because it's played on a cricket field. You got to punt the ball between a couple of sticks. If you miss, you get 1 point either side. But basically the Victorians, South Australians, Western Australians and Tasmanians like that sport. Us, the Queenslanders and the New Zealanders, we prefer the rugby league, which is rugby, but without the. So shouts to the Colorado Raptors in the rugby. That's rugby union, but this is rugby league, which is two less people on the field. There's no rucks, there's no mauls. You get up once you tackle, you get up, play the ball. Much more exciting. So the National Rugby League, which just plays in Las Vegas now to start the season. So they play in the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium for the next few years to kick off the stadium. So they're trying to get big in America, and I think America, can fall in love with rugby league. I know Serbia. We have a few Serbian heritage players in the rugby league, but the Aussie rules players, they're built more like basketballers. Short, chubby guys like me can play a bit more into the rugby code. So not quite Aussie rules, but Westlife. My West Tigers in the National Rugby League are basically the Detroit Pistons, to kind of give you some insight. But they've won the last 2 games, so.
And I'm guessing they have also the bright past like Detroit Pistons do in the NBA, or not?
Yeah, well, they won the comp. When did the Pistons win the NBA? It was basically the same time too. So it's not a bad comparison off the top of my head. We won the comp in 2005. It was a major fluke. We had this guy. There's only probably one man other than Nikola Jokic that's given me a lot of joy in sport, and that's Benji Marshall, a young kid who came from New Zealand, and he's now the coach of our team. So he was basically known for no-look passes. He was the Nikola Jokic of the NRL, I guess.
I have one more question for you. I know you're a big fan of The Simpsons. Are you still up to date with them? I used to be a huge fan. Oh, so you're like me. I watched
12,
like
1 to 12. Yeah, season 1 to 12. Anything.
I'm a bigger fan than I stayed up to 17th season, which was, if you believe me, it was 20 years ago. 17th season. That's crazy.
Yeah, no. Season 13, 14, 15. I might know occasional episodes. I mean, it might have coincided with becoming adult. That's when that kind of happened. But 1 to 12. I can quote pretty much everything verbatim. Seasons 1 to 12, but anything after that, kind of lost me. I kind of moved on to South Park, Family Guy after that. So
brilliant. Okay, let's bring in another debutant. He is a son of 2, a brother of 2, but a friend of everyone. He's also one of my longest tenured Patreon supporters, but most importantly, a Nuggets diehard. It's Jeff. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you, Miro. I appreciate you having me.
So tell me a bit about yourself and how did you become a Nuggets fan?
Yeah, I love your references to the notes that I make in my own Twitter profile. Because that is very accurate. The description.
I didn't have a lot to work with, so you know.
I told you wouldn't, so I appreciate that. I'll keep it a little bit brief, but I grew up a Colorado Avalanche fan and a Denver Broncos fan, but I tended to be a basketball agnostic. I love basketball itself, but didn't really have a fandom, so to say. And my friend and I, on a whim, back in 2016, got Nuggets season tickets. My friend Scott and I, and just started going, kind of to see everybody else in the league. And within probably 3 months or so, fell in love with the Nuggets. And still to this day, we have the season tickets, same seats, and while we go a little bit less than the first year, we probably went to 35 to 40 out of the 41 games. Nowadays, we go closer to probably 20 to 25. We've been there for the NBA Finals, Game 5, and some of the bigger playoff games and some of those Spurs games from that first run, and it's been a blast. So fell in love with it 7-8 years ago and haven't looked back.
So what's your favorite off-season activity that helps you go through it and while waiting for a new season?
That's a great question. This summer has been the best of them all, having the Olympic basketball, because typically, I've long believed that all the sports leagues needed to come together and shift one of the sports into the summer, being that all we have is baseball. And no offense to the baseball fans, but that's just not enough. Whereas the winter we have both, we have all the, basketball, football, and hockey. So, this time of year, it's fun speculating about, what the Nuggets are going to do, who's going to break out, that sort of thing. So you kind of gotta make the most of it. But for now, at least the Olympics provided a nice bridge to getting to the season.
Nice. And last but not least, our last week's champion is both a writer and a reader. He's a teacher and a student of life, that is. He's one of my most compatible movie buffs and soon to be the sole president of the Denver Nuggets Nebraska fan club. It's Kyle Simonsen. Welcome back to the show, Kyle.
Hey, thanks. Happy to be back again. Ready to try to defend my title.
So nobody ever expects to win in this game show, since the games are very random and guessing often wins over knowing. But do you expect to use your former experience and dominate today?
No. Just like I said last week, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's how it works at all. I'm not sure that experience is really much of an advantage in the Serbian corner. So maybe I know, maybe I don't. I don't know. I wasn't exactly hitting the books very hard though, I'm afraid, in the interim.
Okay. So what's your favorite time killer right now while you're waiting for the NBA season?
Well, I follow the role model, our Lord and Savior, Nikola Jokic, and I spend a lot of time with my family in the off season. My wife and I are both teachers, so we're both home a lot more in the summer. I mean, I taught this summer. I actually end up teaching almost every summer, but we're home a little bit more in the summers with our kids. So I like to be like Jokic, man. I like to get a lot of family time in. We took some vacations. We went to Orlando, to Universal with the kids this year. We
shirtless dancing.
No comment. I mean, if you've got the photographic evidence, then show it to me. But otherwise, I'm going to go with no comment. We go up to Minnesota. We do some fishing and like to get outdoors, kayaking and stuff like that. So, just be outside and keep it low key.
So, guys, did you get a chance to see a bit of the game that is still going on behind my back, or at least some highlights? I'm not asking Josh because the game started at 4 a.m. his time.
I saw a couple of the Nuggets Twitter put out Nikola's step back three and his self alley-oop. So I've seen that, and then I saw him pour water over Luka Doncic's head. So that's how much I've seen. It looks like Nikola's having great fun, and when he's having fun, that makes me happy. So,
anybody else?
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with Josh. I saw everything that was posted or circulating. The off the backboard alley-oop is funny because anytime we see Jokic get to the rim with an open lane and throw it down with the two hands, I always feel like he's getting up way higher than I've ever seen him get up. And so it wasn't necessarily a surprise to see, but it was still a joy to see. And then obviously, anytime you get Luka and Jokic together, it's comedy. So it was fun.
Yeah, friend of the show, Crystal Ghost, who was here last week, he posted that Nikola told us he can do that, and now you see he can. I mean, he needs to wait for the right game to exert himself completely. So I guess the exhibition in honor of Goran Dragic is the reason to take himself to another physical level. Did you see anything interesting, Kyle?
Well, I've been able to watch like 20 minutes of it just over your shoulder here as we're watching, recording Serbian Corner. But I got to tell you, so far it seems to be mostly Dragic being interviewed. He's talked more to the press in the time that we've been recording Serbian Corner than Jokic has his entire career, I think. So he's getting hammered out here. They're asking him a lot of questions. I saw, like Josh was saying, I saw clips on social media, and happy to see Jokic taking it really seriously and locked in, and Mamba mentality out there for the Dragic game, the Dragon game. So it's just fun to see him having fun. I think he's so fun at the All-Star game. I don't know why he isn't more of a draw at those things. He's just out there having a good time, and I think that makes for pretty entertaining basketball to watch. So it seems like a cool game. Seems like a party where a basketball game broke out more than anything from what you were saying. So
I saw Goran Dragic play in Denver, actually. When I went to Denver for the first time in January of 2011, it was just pre-Carmelo trade. We played we smacked the Suns, and he was with the Suns at the time. So, yeah, there was almost a punch-on between, I think, Kenyon Martin and someone from the Suns. But I travelled with my mate who's a big Suns fan. And, yeah, that was my first Denver Nuggets game. Been 2 now, but Goran Dragic was in the first one. So there you go. What a circle of life.
Yeah, and I liked Kyle's comment about Nikola Jokic not doing interviews. Can you imagine his final game, like his farewell game, and he's not talking to the press at all? He's just like escaping from the press. Like, see you guys. Yeah, enjoy everything, but I'm not talking to you again. Okay. I have one thing to talk a bit more seriously today before we start drowning into trivia games, and it's a lot of unserious NBA fake trades are out there, including Trae Young for Jamal Murray trade, just to mention the most outrageous one. Of course, there's a lot of give the Lakers 2 really good players for their garbage plus a 2031 first-round pick. But among all of those rumors made by 17-year-old bloggers trying to jumpstart their careers in media, there was this one rumor from a serious source, Real GM, saying that the Nuggets are or were interested in Vasa Micic. What are your thoughts on potentially bringing an experienced point guard before the season starts in 2 months? Let's start with Josh.
Well, I prefer Patty Mills. No offense to everyone. No, I'm only joking. Only half joking. No, look, to be honest, I don't know too much about him in particular, but whatever Nikola wants, give it to him at this point. We want him to stay in Denver and be happy for a long time and do whatever that means necessary. Get him a friend, keep Vlatko around, just keep the man happy, keep him wanting to live in Denver and want to stay with the Nuggets and play till he's 40 years old. If you can, just keep him around, keep him happy. If that's what he wants, that makes me happy.
Jeff?
Yeah, to Josh's point, I think that there are almost 3 ways to look at this. What makes Jokic happy? What does this actually mean for the Nuggets? And is this even possible? Maybe we'll get to is this even feasible in a moment. But I like to think about it more from what he would bring to the actual, Nuggets team. And the most recent experience we've had is being able to watch him play on Serbian national team. And I love the fearlessness with which he plays, the relentlessness to hold the ball and shoot from 28 to 30 feet when he sees it as whenever the time's right, I think can be disastrous at times. And I think it was for Serbia, but overall, I think is a welcome sight for the Nuggets. It reminds me a little bit of what we had with Bones Highland, which we haven't had for quite a bit. And maybe Russ brings a little bit of that, but I see the fit as being something of a bit of a wrench thrown into the system. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to have if you're the Nuggets at this point.
So, Kyle, I mentioned that Vasa's contract aligned really nice with Zeke Naji's contract, and I believe that's the only way this could happen. I mean, theoretically, Vasa could be bought out by Charlotte and then signed by Nuggets, but they would need to, waive one of their guys before doing that to free up the roster spot. And I just don't see them doing it because they're really careful with their finances right now. So would you be more interested in just replacing Zeke with another contract, or maybe having a third point guard just to be on the safe side in case one of your point guards miss 20 games or something like that.
Yeah, I think that really gets at it. Is that on one hand, I think the Nuggets definitely need to move on from the Zeke Naji experience if they can. It just isn't going to work out. It just has not worked out. And I don't think that's necessarily all Zeke Naji's fault. I don't think it's necessarily all the Nuggets' fault. Just a lot of circumstances seem to have combined to make that not a good experience, frankly, for either one of them at this point. I think if Zeke Naji is going to have a role in the league, it's going to be somewhere else. And so the sooner he can get onto that, the better for him. And it just seems like he hasn't really been a good fit for the Nuggets either. So, yeah, I'm definitely, I think, I don't think there's a lot of pushback to that. I think almost everyone's ready to get off his contract. So, and yeah, I mean, Micic seems to me like he would provide some good insurance for the Russell Westbrook experience. You know, his shot is maybe a little suspect, and his shot selection, like Jeff said, is maybe a little suspect, but so is Russ's. So at least you're getting overlap of skill set there. You know, he's maybe not the best defender, but he's such a good connector. And I think that is a really valuable skill to have on the depth chart, at least, or on the bench. You know, one of the things I was looking at is that he is and Miro, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Micic is the player who has played the most with Jokic internationally. I think I saw that they have like 75 games together. So they've played together a lot. They have good chemistry. They have a lot of experience playing together.
Also played together on Mega.
So they've got a lot of experience together. So that, I think, bodes well, that they've got not only off-court chemistry and they seem to get along well, but they have some on-court experience together. Not like, you know, like Bogdan, he's played like 25 games with or whatever. You know, he's played a lot more with Micic. So it seems to me like that could have some value. The only thing I worry about, and he certainly has more value than Jalen Pickett, too, who seems to be at kind of rock bottom right now. As well. The only thing I would be a little worried about, I guess, is that he'd be in the way of Trey Alexander, who I think is going to be a good player in this league, who I like. Maybe that's a little Nebraska bias showing in. He played college ball at Creighton. So I'm rooting for him. I'd like to see him do well. It's easy to get people who were fans of his at Creighton here to watch the Nuggets and be like, oh, that'd be nice if he plays. But I think he's going to spend a lot of time in the G League anyway. I don't think he really is going to make a lot of, but I want him to develop. So sometimes having someone else in front of him,
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about that, I guess, because I'm excited for Trey.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that the Nuggets just need one more playable guard than what they have right now. Because, yeah, it's pretty obvious that Jalen Pickett is not in their plans. He's not even in Denver right now, while every other youngster on the Nuggets is already, you know, training and Red Rocks and stuff like that. So it's both Zeke and Jalen Pickett. I'm not trying to bash those two guys. It's just that it doesn't work, and they're not happy in Denver, and they should get a chance to play elsewhere. So I hope it will get resolved during this season, if it's possible. Okay, it is time for our first break, and when we return, we'll start playing some trivia games. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back, and let's put in our good old reliable presentation. So the first game for today will be, just like in every show this year, a tiebreaker game. So this is just a warm-up game for you guys to feel a bit looser before the real game starts. But in case all three of you win one game, this tiebreaker game will decide the winner. So, before we do that, I want to read the super chat from last week from Cedric Exquisite, who said to Tatiana, Tati, you the most real, weirdest, funny Nuggets fan on Twitter. It's Cedric. Hope we can do a show together. Miro, you got to have me on the show ASAP. Just DM me on Twitter, Cedric, and we'll make it happen. There was another pretty weird super chat last week that made me not read this one as well. So I'm sorry for you, Cedric, to have to wait for a full week to get your super chat read. Okay, first tiebreaker game. It is called Let Me Bing That For You. So last couple of weeks we've done the Let Me Google That For You, but since I feel you got to the algorithm of Google, I wanted to mix it up a bit and use a search engine nobody uses. So let's start with my question for today, and Bing will fill in the blanks. So the question I asked, and Kyle as a champion will start first in this game, is LeBron James ... So how does Bing fill out this question, in your opinion?
Oh man, this is a tough one.
We have, by the way, we have 5 different answers, top 5 answers or questions recorded, so you will get points only for the top 5 questions.
Well, I'm gonna guess, is LeBron James the greatest or best player of?
Yeah, you would
whatever.
think that's a logical question, but not according to Bing. Josh, your turn.
I was thinking, is LeBron James retiring? Because
That's number 1 answer. That's 5 points.
I love Family Feud.
for
Yes,
Josh.
let's do it.
Yes, it's such a great search engine, really is. Okay, well done, Josh. Jeff, what is your?
Yeah, this is my first time seeing what a Bing search bar looks like. I would say, is LeBron James 7 foot tall?
I like your train of thoughts, but it is not in the top 5 guesses. Kyle.
There was a lot of talk this offseason about, whether or not the Lakers would take Bronny, if he might go somewhere else. I'm going to guess, is LeBron James still with the Lakers or staying with the Lakers?
That's a really good guess. This is something people are asking about every player, but I guess not on Bing, because this is not on the top 5 list. Back to Josh.
Is LeBron James better than Michael Jordan? Is that up on there?
Yeah, that would be a viable question, but it is not on the top 5. Jeff.
I'll say, is LeBron James still good at basketball?
I'm
Good
just
at
trying to
basketball?
figure out if I could, use one of the answers and extrapolate it to this, but no, this is not good. Let's do one more round. Kyle.
Maybe I'm just thinking about this because LeBron and I are essentially the same age, but so it's on my mind. I'm going to say, is LeBron James 40 old?
Yeah, that's a good
How old
question.
is he? Yeah.
Still not on the list. Josh.
Is LeBron James doing Space Jam 3?
Now that's thinking out of the box, but no, it's not on the list.
Okay.
And Jeff, let's close out this game with you.
Yeah, I'll just say Kyle gave me a little bit of inspiration. I'll say, is LeBron James a dad?
Yes, good guess. Not on the list though. So I'm going to show you the full list, and it's pretty crazy as always. So we've heard, is LeBron James retiring? Is LeBron James alive? Oh my God!
A billionaire, yeah, money, always money. Yeah,
is LeBron James married? Is LeBron James playing tonight? I don't know why, because I asked this
Lakers
question
fans wouldn't have a clue, would they?
like a week ago. Yeah. And then, is LeBron James a billionaire?
I thought about rich. I almost asked about rich.
I
thought that might work, but
and
dad was pretty close to married, so guessing dad, I think, was pretty close. Man, these are hard.
I feel like
It's
I should
hard
have been given it. Yeah,
hard to figure out what people are thinking out there.
Okay, we have solved our tiebreaker. Josh got it. So in case all of you guys win a game, Josh will be a winner today. So let's jump in right into game number 1 for today. And game 1 is called, it's a really short and snappy title, Players with the highest 3-point attempts per 36 minutes for the Nuggets since 2015-2016, 1,000 minutes minimum. So don't be afraid. I'm going to give you all the names on this list. I'm not trying to make you guess. The 12 guys that have attempted the most 3-pointers per 36 minutes while playing for the Jokic era Nuggets. So not on any other teams, not before 2015 when Jokic came to the league. These are the 12 guys in alphabetical order, I hope. Will Barton, Malik Beasley, Facu Campazzo, Randy Foy, Danilo Gallinari, Jamichael Green, Bones Highland, Reggie Jackson, Trey Lyles, I love when Trey Lyles appear on these lists, Jamal Murray, MPJ, and Austin Rivers. So, Josh, you are a winner of the tiebreaker game, so this is why you get to guess first here. So, which player do you think had the most 3-point attempted per 36 minutes while playing 36. For the Jokic? Yeah. So you have to, just
Jamal Murray came to my mind first because I think per game he would have taken the most, but per 36 obviously changes things. So I'll kill myself if it's Jamal Murray because I'm going to change. I feel like per minutes he played not huge minutes, but he jacked them up. So I'm going to say Bones Highland.
Bones Highland is number 1 on the list. Very good, Josh. 10.1 3-point attempts per 36 minutes.
Love jacking them up.
By the way, by far the most out of all of these 12 guys. Like, number 2 is not that close, honestly. Okay, we go now to Jeff.
I have to go with a very safe pick. I don't want to fall behind. So I'll say MPJ.
MPJ is number 2 on the list. 11 points for you, Jeff. So 12 points for Josh and 11 for Jeff. Kyle.
Bones was definitely the first one I thought of too. I'm not surprised that he's so much higher than everyone else, and again, specifically because.
Oh, by the way, Michael Porter 7.7. So Bones Island 10.1.
Wow.
Michael Porter 7.7, number 2. Sorry, Kyle.
No, that's fine. I need all the extra time that you can give me, so just vamp while I think. That's great. No, I'm going to go with this is maybe an odd pick. I'm going to go with Bones before Bones. I think I'm going to go with Malik Beasley. That was kind of his job on that team off the bench was to shoot threes. So I'm going to guess Malik Beasley.
Great job, Kyle. Number 3 on the list is Malik Beasley. 10 points for you and 7.2 attempts for Malik Beasley. We're going back to Josh.
Yeah, it's getting tough now. I was thinking Malik as well. I'm just trying to think the maths per 36. Reggie Jackson's minutes were so low. I feel like Reggie might be up there mathematically.
Is Reggie your guess?
Oh, that means I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah, Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is number 6 on this list, so that's 7 points for Josh. Still a pretty good guess.
Yeah,
it's like first half of the guys. Jeff.
Wow. Yeah, Reggie was a good guess and one of the people I was thinking of. I feel like I might lose it off this, but I feel like Austin Rivers got him up in the limited minutes he had, mainly because he had to. So I'll go Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers is number 7 on this list, so that's 6 points for Jeff. We are still trying to find number 4 and number 5 for big points. Kyle.
That's a tough one. I know that one of the best scorers alongside Jokic was Gallo, but I'm trying to remember how many of those were threes and how much he got to the rim. And it seems like he got to the rim more. So I don't think I'm going to guess him. I'm going to go with where Josh wanted to start. I think I'm just going to go with Jamal Murray.
Yes, Jamal Murray. Don't overthink it. Number 4 on the list, 6.5 attempts. Kyle, that's 9 points for you. You're back in the game, strong. Okay, back to Josh.
I love Gallinari back in the day. He did throw up a few threes, but probably not as much as Will Barton. They probably had similar minutes. I would say minutes per game. Actually, Will Barton might even be a little bit less minutes per game. So maybe Will Barton.
Will Barton is number 10 on this list, Josh.
Jesus.
So
I
that
just
is
remember him
4
more.
points for you because he's actually tied at number 9 with another guy. And I'm not going to tell you with which guy because that would be smart for me. So, yeah, 4 points for you, Will Barton. 5.6, by the way, not that far away from Austin Rivers, who is at number 7 at 5.8. So all the guys from 5 to 12 are within 1 attempt per game. So it's not that big of a difference. Let's go back to Jeff.
Yeah, it's funny how many of these people I just have an instinctive reaction to like shield my eyes when I see them putting up a 3, and yet they're at the top 12.
Well, I didn't ask how many 3-point makes per game. It's just the attempts. So.
Also, 1,000 minutes is a high cutoff too. That's a lot of minutes. So
I didn't want to get like a Ray John Tucker on this list. You know,
yeah, there are even more who I despise taking 3s. Yeah, so I guess if I have to go with somebody here, I will say he pops up on these lists quite often. I'm going to say Trey Lyles took a lot of 3s.
Trey Lyles is number 5, the best available guess for you, Jeff, and that is 8 points for you. Strong return to the game. Kyle.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Gallo at this point, who I know scored a lot of points. I just can't remember how many of them were at the rim or how many of them were 3s, but I'm going to go with Gallo.
Yeah, Gallo was the number 1 scorer on the Nuggets, in Nikola's rookie season for sure. And interesting about him is his last season on the Nuggets was 2016-2017. And that's the era when there were so fewer 3-point attempts than today. So this is why Danilo Gallinari is actually number 12 on this list. Just 1 point for Kyle here. Yeah, he's dead last at 5.1. Back to Josh.
Look, Randy Foy hit that game winner against who was it? He hit that buzzer beater. Was it the Clippers? I think it was the Clippers around this time. So go Randy Foy.
Randy Foy, best available answer, number 8, 5 points for Josh. I have a confession here. I don't remember Randy Foy at all playing in the Jokic era.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember him at all in the Jokic era.
He was starting with Jamal.
Yeah.
Could have fooled me. Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, just 2 more available options.
Yeah, who are the 2 we have? We have Facu.
We have Facu and we have JaMychal Green. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say Facu. I feel like out of the 2 of them, I witnessed more frustrating 3-point attempts from Facu.
And that's a good guess. He's number 9 on the list. That's 4 points for Jeff. So, Kyle, you're forced to pick JaMychal Green. Unfortunately,
I thought JaMychal would be 12th for sure, but I'm surprised that Gallo was beneath him. So that's funny.
Yeah, Gallo has nothing on JaMychal Green as a 3-point shooter. Okay, so let's try to figure out the points. Josh has 12 and 7. Can somebody add these up
19.
for me?
That's
okay,
19.
And then 5.
24.
And then 4.
28. My birthday.
Remember your number. Jeff, you have 11, 8,
19,
6,
25,
and 4.
29.
29. And Kyle had
I'm sorry.
10 and 9.
19, yeah.
And 2 and 1.
22.
Right there. So we have the first time situation where 2 players are co-winners of the game, which means nobody won the game.
No.
I make these horrible
1.
rules. I make these horrible rules. Although you can use it as a what? Sorry.
Yeah, I had 29. Josh had 28.
Yeah, I had 28.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a close one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have had less schnapps during the Goran Dragic game. Okay, so
It's
Jeff,
late in Serbia. It's late in Serbia.
it is. It
Saturday
is.
night.
It's almost midnight here. So Jeff is the winner of our first game for today. Congrats! And on that note, we'll take our second break and play some more games on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back. 2 more games until the sad end of the show, I guess. So this is the list. This is the list I was talking about in the previous game. I always forget to show it on time. So game number 2, Jeff will start it. Also has a snappy short name. Guess the ranking of the Nuggets players in total points scored in the last regular season. So I will give you the top 9 guys, top 9 scorers on the Nuggets in total points made, and you will try to guess their league-wide ranking last season. So how are we going to do this? I'm going to let Jeff make his pick. For instance, if it's Nikola Jokic, and he says, I don't know, 10th overall in total points last season. And then Kyle will say, okay, I think he's better than that. He's like 8th. And then Josh, who's going to have the third pick, he's going to say, okay, higher than both of you, lower than both of you, or right in the middle. And this is how we're going to determine who gets the point on this.
So the price
player.
is right now.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty much Price is Right. I think, although I have never watched that TV show in my life. But yeah, I've heard this comment before. So here are the 9 guys. And Jeff, what would be your guess on Nikola Jokic? What is his league-wide ranking in total points made last season?
Yeah, we all know he plays a lot more games than a lot of other guys, but I still think, he had enough games missed where he's not going to be like top 3, top 4. I'm going to go, he was number 8 in total points.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I wasn't prepared. So 8. Kyle, what is your guess?
I'm going to say 10th.
10th. Okay. So you remembered what I was talking about a second ago, which might be a bad idea, but we'll see. Josh?
I thought it was higher, just based on, because this is total for the season, isn't it?
Yes, total points.
I thought he was top 5, but maybe I imagined that. I'll go 5, 5th.
Okay, so you were just gonna say 7th or better, and
I'll get that 1 to 7. Yes.
Yeah, you get 7th or better as your guess. So yes, this is your point, Josh, because he was in fact 5th.
Yeah.
He was top 5. He was top 5 last season in total points made. Kyle, MPJ is your guess. What is his league-wide ranking in total points?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a tough one. I think after we get this one, this will kind of help us set the rest maybe a little bit. But man, I'm kind of flying blind here a little bit.
I agree.
I'm gonna say he is 35th.
35th. Okay. Josh?
Yeah, man, it's so hard. There's 150 starters roughly in the league. Just doing some pointless maths in my head. His points per game weren't that high. But he played 81 games though, didn't he? I think he's pretty close with 35th. I'll go. So do I go higher or lower now? How does
no? You pick a number as well, and then Jeff will take one of the samples.
Go
40th. Okay, Jeff, what is your guess? Higher than these 2 guys, lower than these 2 guys, or maybe in the middle?
Oh, this stresses me out. I think just to play it safe, I'll go 41 or higher.
He's pricing
41
right
or higher. Yes, and you are correct because he was 46th last season.
we're
So
pretty
this
close.
is
That's
Jeff.
good.
Very close, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good guesses all around. Okay, now we go to Jeff,
Jamal.
right?
Oh.
Jeff will guess first for Jamal. What is Jamal's league-wide ranking?
Out
last
of
season?
everybody, this is probably the hardest one to gauge just because of him missing 20-ish games.
Yeah.
So shot in the dark, I'm going to say he is 91st.
91st. Okay. Kyle?
I'm going to say he is 65th.
65th. Josh?
Yeah, because his points per game are significantly higher than Mike, but way less. He played, what, about 2/3? Was 60-ish? Did he play 60-ish last year? I'll go... Jamal's my guy. I'll go lower. I reckon he's higher ranked.
So 64th or better, right?
Yeah. Come on, Jamal.
And you are right, because Jamal Murray was 62nd. Again, really good guesses. Really good guesses all around.
Painful.
So, Josh, yeah, you were really close. 62nd, Jamal Murray. Okay, now we go back to Kyle. Kyle, Aaron Gordon and his ranking.
Aaron Gordon seemed to have, fewer points per game, I would say, but I'm thinking, but played in a lot of games. I mean, missed a few games, but was relatively healthy, right? So I'm gonna kind of go in that same area. I think I'll say 65th again.
65th. Okay. Josh?
No, he'd be out of the 100, I reckon. He had games where he barely scored. I reckon 110.
110. Okay. Jeff?
I'll go in between.
In between. So between 66 and 99. And you're right, because Aaron Gordon is 93rd. So that is point for Jeff. And right now we have 2 points for Josh and 2 points for Jeff. Now we are going back to who was the first last time? It was, I believe, Josh. So now Kyle starts. Reggie Jackson.
Oh, I think Reggie's got to be pretty low down there, right? I'm going to say Reggie Jackson is 155th.
155th. Josh?
No, it's going to be 150 means, well, that would be a starter level. I reckon 190.
190. Okay. Jeff?
This one's tough. He played all 82. So
yeah, true.
155th. If you had 5 starters from every team, that'd be 150. I think he probably scored up there. I would say high, like better than Kyle's guess.
Okay, so 154 or better. And you're right, because he was 136th. So another
Reggie.
point for Jeff. We are back to Josh. Right? Yes.
You're the host.
No, is who's the first now?
It's either Josh or I.
Josh, okay.
Where's Drew
KCP.
Carey when you need him?
KCP. Interestingly enough, lower than Reggie Jackson.
Oh, so these are in
Yes,
ranking
they're
order.
incremental.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
a
it's
clue, isn't it?
incremental.
So he has to be higher than 130 something. 160.
160. Okay. Jeff?
I already forgot what we said Reggie was. I think 136.
Yeah, Reggie was
30 something. Yeah, 30 something.
Yeah,
Reggie was
136.
136. Yeah.
Yeah, KCP almost played every game this season as well, and I have a hard time believing Reggie outscored him by that much.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say 142.
142. Okay, Kyle.
I think I'm going to say in between.
143 to 159. And that's a good guess, because he was 150th last season. First point for Kyle. And we are back to...
Going to get on the board.
I
Back
guess
to
it's pretty
Josh.
good, though.
Back to Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. Christian Brown.
Wow. Oh, now we're really getting into the weeds.
So KCP was
150th.
150th. Yes.
Yeah, 150th for KCP. Christian didn't play quite as much as obviously Reggie or any of them. For Christian, I'm going to go ahead and say 212.
212th. Kyle.
I'm gonna say 190th.
90th. Josh.
Give me higher.
So better than 190, right?
Sorry, higher. Sorry, by higher, a higher number, lower ranking.
So 213 or worse.
Sorry, yeah,
Okay.
bigger number.
Yes. So the
Yeah.
closest one is Kyle, because Christian Brown is 184th. So second point for Kyle. And now, after 7 guesses, Kyle has 2, Josh has 2, and Jeff has 3. So last 2 questions are gonna give us the answer who is the winner. So, Kyle, you start with Peyton Watson.
I have to imagine Peyton Watson is pretty close to Christian Brown. I'm actually surprised to see him just under on this list. So I'm actually going to say 190th.
190th. Okay. Josh?
Give me 200.
200. Okay. Jeff?
Yeah. In terms of points per game, he might be pretty close to Christian, but I think he played far fewer games than Christian. So I'm going to go, he was more poorly ranked than 200.
So 201 or worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good guess, Jeff, because he was 207th. So that's your 4th point. And last but not least, we are going back to Josh. Justin Holiday.
Was he really the 10th? Ninth highest scorer?
Yeah, 9th, yes.
This
is how deep the Nuggets were.
Yeah. Bloody hell. 240.
240. Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, as good as much as you could think something's a good guess, I think that's a pretty good guess. I'll just go ahead and say 260.
260. Kyle?
He didn't always play a lot of minutes, but he played a lot of games. He played in 70 games, I think. So I think I'm going to say higher.
When you say higher, you mean better than 240?
Better than 240. I know. We got to find a new terminology or something.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to say 240. It's a lot of numbers to keep in your head. It's more challenging than you think. I'd say, 240 or up.
And you see how Josh thinks completely different than you because he's on the south hemisphere and you're on the north hemisphere. So this is why
Right.
I always ask before I type in the answer. And by the way, Jeff is the closest again because actually Justin Holiday's rank is 322nd.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive.
So yes, Jeff actually won this game pretty comfortably with 5
work,
points.
Jeff.
Great work, Jeff. And let's take one last short break before we begin our last game. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back, and you already can see it on the screen. Game 3, can I have your full name, sir/madam? Just to quickly explain what this game is, I've made up a 3-part full name that consists of first name of a first person, and then after that, it goes to the second name that's a blend of second name of the first person and first name of the second person, or it can be the same word actually. And the third word is the last name of the second person to explain this more in more normal ways, I'm going to give you an example. If I say the first person is the first guy that got paid playing next to Nikola Jokic, and the second guy is the most handsome non-Miroslav on DNVR Nuggets channel, your answer would be Gary Harrison Wind. So this is how the game is played. Gary Harrison Wind. This is how it goes. So Jeff, you are winner of the last game. You get the first guess in the first combination. There are 3 combinations, of course. So Jeff, the first person is an NBA player. The second person was born in 1969 as O'Shea Jackson.
I'll wait for the second hint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kyle?
I also think there are too many options to make a good guess here. Maybe I don't have the answer, so I'm gonna strategically pass, as I've learned we often do in this game.
Okay, smart. Josh?
I'm trying to think of a Jackson that's 50-ish. 50. What is that? 50. Trying to do maths again in my head. 50. It's too damn early to do all this maths. I'm trying to think of the guy that played for. Isn't there a guy that played for the Pistons last time? Jackson. No, I'll pass.
Okay. I did not mention that the second person is an NBA player, by the way. So, second clue for Jeff. Jeff, the first person is still playing for the team that drafted him. The second person is a rapper, an actor, and a film producer.
I'm going to go ahead and say Nikola Jokic Cube.
That is correct. That is correct, Jeff.
Jesus.
That is correct. And look at those 2 guys partying together. Yes, Nikola Jokic Cube is the correct answer. And you can see how those 2 words melts together perfectly.
I was
Again,
looking for like somebody with an ice or an is at the end.
I know you're really playing with that pronunciation. There's too many itches.
Kidding.
There's too many itches in the league now.
Stretching there, yeah.
I was thinking like Goran Dragic, maybe, as we were just talking about
for sure.
Yes, Nikola Jokic.
I didn't think there'd be a Jokic link there. I thought that'd be impossible. You've done it. Nice work.
Well, I'm stretching the rules nonstop, so it's possible. So this is the way I roll. Okay, we're now going to Kyle and his combination. Kyle. The first person is the son of a former NBA coach. The second person was born in 1977 in a place called Bahia Blanca.
You know, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass for now.
Okay, Josh?
Michael Malone Wolf. I was trying to think of Michael Malone. Loner. There's a singer, isn't there? Loner. I don't know, man. I'm 36 years old. I don't know. I swear there's a singer that starts with Loner or something. No, pass. Sorry, but I probably gave a clue, maybe.
Josh? Oh, sorry, Jeff?
Only because Josh said a singer is the only reason why I would think this. Michael Malonio.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but that is not the correct answer.
Only
Kyle, second clue. Let's get a bit easier now. The first person was an assistant coach on the Timberwolves and Magic before coming to his current NBA franchise. The second person is a 4-time NBA champion.
Well, I feel good about the first one. Now, again, there were several Nuggets coaches who met that first criteria from the first one. So I think we've narrowed that down. But I still do not know who that second one is, I'm afraid. So I'm going to have to pass again.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah, Mike was Cavs and Kings, wasn't he? So it's not Mike. Honestly, was it the Wolves and Magic before? I haven't got a clue, man. Sorry, I'm going to pass. I don't want to hold the show up.
Okay. Jeff?
I don't know how many letters need to be shared in the last name to the first
I would
name.
I would say at least 2. That's
Oh,
like
okay.
bare
Well,
minimum
that
is
kind of
2.
takes away what I was thinking. No, I don't think I have a guess. The one I was thinking was Ryan Saunders, Steph Curry, but that is the S shared. So I'll go ahead and move along.
Yeah, I don't think Steph was born in Bahia Blanca. Okay.
Fair.
Third clue. Kyle. I'm feeling good now. The first person is the lead assistant on the Nuggets since the departure of Wes Unseld Jr. The second person has his number 20 retired by the San Antonio Spurs and is a FIBA 2004 Summer Olympics MVP.
Now I'm thinking, it's not who I thought it was. I'm not sure I know. Maybe I've messed it up here. I think it's David Adelmanuginobili.
That is correct. That's correct. And look how concerned both of these two guys look.
These guys are locked into the game.
Really, really locked in. You can see that. By the way, David Adelman is a complete doppelganger of one of my friends here in Belgrade. So it always makes me giggle when I see him because I always thought of my friend. Okay.
I was with Jeff though. I was thinking it was Ryan Saunders till that last one.
Me too.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking it was right. Yep, same.
It was a tricky clue. I agree with you because of the Timberwolves. Okay, Josh, your combination for the end of this game. Let me just put here that Kyle got the second one just to be on the safe side if I forget later on. So, Josh. The first person is a former NBA player born in 1976. The second person is a former president of the United States.
48, so talking early 2000s NBA player. Former president. It's not right because Paul George isn't. I was thinking Paul George W. Bush, but he's not old enough.
Yeah. You are correct on both accounts.
Paul George, unfortunately, still in the league.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a former NBA player.
Get him out of here.
Yet, but he's now a teammate of Joel Embiid, and he tends to end his teammate's career. So we'll see. That was a bad joke, and I apologize for it. Okay,
it's a good joke. I like that.
Jeff, do you have a guess?
Yeah, honestly, my thoughts were the same exact ones that Josh was having. I was thinking Paul George Bush, even though that is clearly not it. I'll go ahead and pass.
Yeah. Okay, Kyle.
I don't have a guess yet either. I think it's too. I don't think there's enough details here to make a good guess yet.
Second clue, Jeff. Oh, sorry, Josh. Your names are just too close to me in my mind. Okay, Josh. The first person studied at Penn State.
901.
The second person was the president from 1901 to 1909. So not a recent president.
I'm thinking of the Simpsons, the lesser known president song, the guy that died in 30 days. This is tough as a non-American in this game, the presidents. First, and it's Penn State too. The only thing I know about Penn State is the lawsuit that they had about 10 years ago. That's all I know about Penn State.
They'd be thrilled that that's what they're known for.
Hey, we're known for shit breakdancing now, so I guess it's even. 1901. 1901. Yeah, I'm going to get you cancelled, Miroslav. Sorry. Who? Maybe I'm trying to think who. 1901. It's George Washington was way before that. Lincoln was Lincoln? No, he freed the slaves in the 1800s. We don't learn this stuff here. We just learn about Captain Cook. Hoover, Washington. What's the other dude? First person studied Penn State. No, I've got to pass. It's too hard for.
You were naming way more. You named way more presidents of the U.S. than I could ever name of Australia. So I think you're killing it.
You guys probably don't know our current Prime Minister.
Jeff.
Yeah, I will not even entertain the question about the current Prime Minister of Australia. And to be honest, to try to think of a president between 1901 and 1908 or 1909, I don't know. I haven't.
I mean, honestly, if it's not Patty Mills, I don't even care who the Prime Minister.
Albo. Yeah.
I think, Josh, you think we have a better idea of all our history's presidents than we actually do. I'm going
off The Simpsons, so
I do not know. I'm going to have to pass.
Okay, Kyle, any idea?
Well, I was just the only thing I can guess for the first one is I think it must have a Nuggets connection. I was thinking about how Calvin Booth drafted Jalen Pickett because they were both Penn State guys. So I am guessing Calvin Booth Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh my goodness! What a guess! What a guess, Kyle! What a
That's one of my favorite presidents, personally. So big Teddy Roosevelt fan. Actually,
incredible guess after just 2 clues, and that's something you've done last week as
Wasn't
well.
The guy that shot Lincoln last name Booth as well?
That's right, John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, John Wilkes Booth. Yeah. And he died in a booth. There you go. See, I know, man.
Again, you know way more U.S. history than we know Australian history. Yeah. So again, you should not feel bad at all. You should feel great.
I believe Calvin Booth shot 0 presidents so far, which is good because he can stay in the NBA.
I hope he keeps it up.
Fact. Yeah.
Stay off the slope roofs, mate.
Okay, so guys, our champion for this week is Jeff, who has won 2 games. Game 1 and Game 2. Kyle is the winner of Game 3, and Josh is the winner of tiebreaker. So everybody won something.
I'm just glad I didn't get swept like the Lakers.
Everybody.
Kyle, you were too good at that last game. You were too good.
Glad I could get one. Glad I could get one game.
This is the fifth show, and none of the champions repeated. It's literally the NBA. Like nobody can defend their championship so far.
A lot of parity in the Serbian corner,
which is really good because I do plan to have 9 people in semifinals, which means Kyle, we'll see you again in something like 3 or 4 weeks in the semifinals if you want to return. And Jeff, you too, but you will stay for next show as well. Before we go, do you guys have any closing thoughts?
No, thanks for hosting this, Miro. It's always a fun time. I love getting together and talking Nugget. It's especially cool to do it internationally, to be talking with people all around the world who we kind of have this shared interest and this shared passion. And it's a lot of fun, man. So thanks for hosting. Congratulations to Jeff.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, Miroslav, love your work, mate. And learning a lot of Serbian culture because Nikola Jokic has given so much joy to my life. So, I know Kevin Durant knows my love of Serbian culture as well now, according to Twitter. But and also shout out to the DNVR crew as well. I've been listening since Harrison Wind and TJ McBride were doing the BSN Nuggets podcast back in the day. So big love to them and to everyone in Colorado. I really hope to get back to Colorado in the future and see Nikola Jokic play again for a 3rd trip. I love Colorado. It's a beautiful state. So shouts to everyone in the best state in America.
Yeah, I sometimes feel a bit like an outsider. Like this is my first involvement getting to meet, other Nuggets fans, especially other supporters of DNVR. So this has been an absolute blast. So I can't thank you enough, Miro, for having me on, and Kyle and Josh for getting to know y'all and getting to have some competition. Nothing better.
Thanks to everybody. It was a really, really competitive show. You've shown a lot of knowledge in these wacky games. I have to say, those are pretty crazy, but you still managed to show a lot of knowledge there. So that's all I've prepared for you this week, my dear listener. And please, pretty please, take the word prepared loosely. I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and especially my Sicko tier supporters, Peter Plummer and Daniel Lynch. If you want to join them in supporting me, click on the link in the podcast description, which is this one. Be well, be safe, be kind to everybody, call your mom, and until next week, Jameer Nelson.